The quantum sensors aboard the TSS Nemesis detected the anomaly first. Deep in the vessel's command center, buried within a hollowed-out asteroid in the Kuiper Belt, Lieutenant Maya Patel watched as her display lit up with impossible readings. The energy signature was massive, unlike anything humanity had ever recorded, and it was heading straight for Earth. "Captain Chen," Maya called out, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "You need to see this." Captain Sarah Chen moved silently across the bridge, her movements precise even in the low gravity. At 45, she'd spent more time in space than planetside, and it showed. Her dark eyes narrowed as she studied the readings, calculations already running through her mind. "How many?" she asked. "Initial count shows 317 vessels, Captain. Largest is approximately 12 kilometers in length. They're maintaining perfect formation despite their size." The bridge fell silent. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, but preparation and reality were very different things. The Nemesis, Earth's most advanced warship, had been built in secret for exactly this scenario. While the world's governments publicly focused on civilian space exploration, the Nemesis project had pushed the boundaries of human innovation far beyond what anyone thought possible. "Signal from the approaching fleet, Captain," Communications Officer Jack Torres announced. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, every language on Earth. Let's hear it." The alien voice that filled the bridge was artificially translated, but carried an unmistakable tone of superiority. "To the primitive species inhabiting the third planet, your existence has been noted by the Drachnid Imperium. You will submit to immediate integration or face extinction. You have one planetary rotation to respond." Commander David Walsh, the ship's XO, stepped forward. "They haven't detected us yet, Captain. The quantum camouflage is holding." Chen nodded slowly. The Nemesis location had been humanity's best-kept secret for 15 years. While the world built obvious space stations and lunar bases, this ship had been constructed in silence, incorporating technologies that even most world leaders didn't know existed. "Status of the Lunar Research Station?" Chen asked. "All personnel have been evacuated except for the essential crew," Walsh reported. 32 people still on site. The decision to maintain a minimal presence at the lunar base had been part of the protocol, making Earth appear less advanced than it really was. Now those brave volunteers were Earth's first line of defense. The demonstration of power came exactly as their simulations had predicted. The largest Drachnid vessel fired a single shot at the lunar base. The energy beam was visible from Earth, a brilliant purple streak that turned the research station into a crater. 32 lives, gone in an instant. "Message from Earth Defense Command," Torres said, his voice tight. "All nations have agreed to Protocol Omega. We have full authorization." Protocol Omega. The words hung in the air like a physical presence. Years of preparation, countless simulations, and now it was real. The Nemesis was about to reveal itself, and with it, humanity's true face to the galaxy. "Send to all Earth governments. Nemesis acknowledging Protocol Omega," Chen ordered. "Initiate quantum drive startup sequence. Bring all systems to full combat readiness." Around her, the bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this, but the weight of history pressed down on every action. Humanity's first contact with alien life was about to become humanity's first interstellar war. "Captain," Maya called out again. "They're scanning the entire solar system. Methodical sweep, sector by sector. They'll reach our position in 17 minutes. Chen smiled slightly. "They won't find us. Not until we want them to." She turned to her tactical officer. "Lieutenant Commander Zhao, prepare the quantum torpedoes. Target their flagship's propulsion systems. We'll show them exactly how primitive we are." The Nemesis's engines hummed to life, the sound barely perceptible through the ship's advanced dampening systems. Outside, the massive vessel began to move from its hiding place, its quantum camouflage rendering it invisible to every known form of detection. "All hands, Chen's voice carried throughout the ship. "This is the captain. For 15 years, we've trained for this moment. Earth built this ship not because we wanted war, but because we refused to be helpless. The Drachnid Imperium thinks they're dealing with a primitive species. They're about to learn that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our determination to remain free." As her words faded, the tactical display updated with their first firing solution. The Drachnid fleet hung in space like a web of metallic predators, waiting for Earth's submission. They had no idea that humanity's response was already on its way. "Quantum drive engaged," the helm reported. "Ready for combat maneuvers." Captain Chen took her command chair, her expression resolute. "Let's show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. Lieutenant Commander Zhao, you may fire when ready." The Nemesis moved silently through space, carrying with it humanity's response to the Drachnid ultimatum. First contact had come at a terrible price, but the real cost would be paid by those who thought Earth would be an easy conquest. The game of predator and prey was about to begin, but the roles weren't quite what the Drachnids expected. The Nemesis glided through space like a ghost, its quantum camouflage bending light and energy around its hull. On the bridge, Captain Chen watched as they approached the massive Drachnid fleet. Their first strike would need to be perfect. They wouldn't get a second chance at surprise. "Quantum torpedo analysis complete," Lieutenant Commander Zhao reported, his hands dancing over the tactical console. "Their shield harmonics are more complex than we anticipated. Standard penetration protocols won't work." "Show me," Chen ordered. The main display lit up with a detailed scan of the Drachnid flagship. Its shields pulsed with an alien energy signature, layers of protection that would have been impenetrable to conventional weapons. Dr. Emily Santos, the ship's chief scientist, stepped forward from her station. "Their shield technology is based on energy deflection, not absorption. But there's a pattern to it." Her fingers traced the energy flow on the display. "See these oscillations? They're cyclic. If we time our quantum torpedoes to match the inverse frequency, we can slip right through," Chen finished. "How long to recalibrate?" 3 minutes, Zhao answered. "But Captain, there's something else. These readings suggest their entire fleet operates on a unified defense grid. Hit one ship correctly, and we expose a vulnerability in all of them." Chen nodded. "Perfect. Begin recalibration." The bridge crew worked in focused silence, aware that somewhere above them, the Drachnid fleet was still systematically scanning the solar system. They had expected to find a primitive civilization cowering in fear. Instead, they were about to face humanity's hidden blade. "Message from Earth," Torres announced. "The Drachnids are demanding an answer to their ultimatum. They're threatening to target major population centers next." "Let them posture," Commander Walsh said. "Every minute they waste on threats is another minute we have to prepare." Maya's sensor station suddenly lit up with new data. "Captain, they're moving their fleet into attack formation. Energy readings suggest they're charging weapons." "Time to recalibration?" Chen asked. 90 seconds, Zhao responded. Chen's mind raced through the options. They needed those 90 seconds, but Earth couldn't afford to lose any cities. "Lieutenant Patel, activate the Phantom Drive. Let's show them our first trick." The Phantom Drive was perhaps humanity's greatest technological achievement. A propulsion system that could briefly fold space itself, allowing the Nemesis to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. It was meant to be their last resort, but Chen knew the psychological impact would be worth revealing it early. "Phantom Drive spooling up," Maya confirmed. "Generating quantum duplicates in 5, 4, 3. The sensation was subtle. A slight vibration through the deck plates, a momentary feeling of displacement. On the tactical display, sensor ghosts of the Nemesis appeared at strategic points throughout the solar system. Each one was indistinguishable from the real ship, each one apparently preparing to fire. The effect on the Drachnid fleet was immediate. Their perfect formation wavered as their sensors detected multiple capital-class vessels appearing from nowhere. Their attack preparation halted as they tried to assess this impossible threat. "They're redirecting their scans," Maya reported, unable to hide a smile. "Attempting to determine which signatures are real." "Quantum torpedoes recalibrated," Zhao announced. "Ready to fire." Chen leaned forward in her chair. "Select primary target. Time to show them what happens when you threaten Earth." The next few moments would be spoken of for generations. The Nemesis, the real one, emerged from quantum camouflage directly beneath the Drachnid flagship. Its appearance was precisely calculated, timed to the millisecond with the flagship's shield oscillation. "Fire," Chen ordered. The quantum torpedoes launched silently, their warheads containing weaponized space-time itself. They passed through the Drachnid shields as if they weren't there, detonating against the flagship's hull. The explosions weren't spectacular. They didn't need to be. Where they struck, matter simply ceased to exist, leaving perfect spherical holes through multiple decks. "Direct hits," Zhou confirmed. "Their shield grid is destabilizing across the entire fleet, reading multiple system failures." The Drachnid response was chaos. Their ships broke formation, weapons firing wildly at the phantom signatures of the Nemesis. Each shot passed harmlessly through the quantum duplicates, while the real ship was already moving to its next attack position. "Message from the Drachnid command," Torres called out. They're demanding to know what we are." Chen allowed herself a grim smile. "Send them this. We are humanity. You threatened our world, killed our people, and demanded our submission. Now you'll learn why that was a mistake." "Multiple Drachnid vessels attempting emergency jumps," Maya reported. "Their formation is completely broken. Don't let them retreat," Chen ordered. "Not yet. Zhao, target their engine cores. Minimal yield, maximum precision. I want them disabled, not destroyed." The Nemesis moved like a predator among prey, its phantom drive creating a dance of quantum duplicates that confused and terrified the alien fleet. Each shot was precisely calculated, each target carefully selected. This wasn't just a battle, it was a message to the galaxy. "Captain," Dr. Santos called out, her voice urgent. "I'm detecting massive energy buildups in their disabled ships. They're scuttling their own vessels rather than risk capture." Chen's expression hardened. "Preserve what we can for study, but make sure every surviving Drachnid ship records what happens here. The galaxy needs to understand. Humanity will not bow, will not break, and will not be conquered." As the battle continued, the truth became clear to the Drachnid fleet. They hadn't found a primitive species ready for conquest. They had awakened a sleeping giant, one that had spent decades preparing for this very moment. And now, they would pay the price for their arrogance. The aftermath of the Nemesis' initial strike rippled through the Drachnid fleet like a shockwave. Disabled ships drifted in space, their crews frantically trying to restore power. Others maintained distance, their weapons charged but hesitant to fire, unsure which of the multiple Nemesis signatures was real. "New energy signatures detected," Maya announced, her eyes widening at her sensor readings. "Multiple hyperspace windows opening. Captain, they're calling in reinforcements." Through the void of space, hundreds of new Drachnid vessels emerged, their hulls gleaming with malevolent purpose. The reinforcements took up positions around their damaged comrades, their weapons already charging. 2017 new contacts, Maya reported, her voice steady despite the implications, including 3 vessels larger than anything we've seen before. Dr. Santos rushed to her station, analyzing the new arrivals. "Captain, these ships are different. Their energy signatures suggest significantly more advanced technology than the first wave. They sent their second-rate ships to test us," Commander Walsh concluded. "This is their real fleet." Chen studied the tactical display, her mind racing through scenarios. The Phantom Drive had given them the element of surprise, but it consumed enormous power. They couldn't maintain the quantum duplicates indefinitely. "New transmission," Torres reported. "Audio only." A different voice filled the bridge, deeper and more resonant than the first. I am High Admiral Vexthor of the Drachnid Imperial Fleet. Your resistance is notable, but futile. You have one chance to surrender your vessel and its technology. Comply, and your species may yet survive as servants. Captain Chen didn't hesitate. Dr. Santos, is the quantum resonance field ready? Yes, Captain, but we've never tested it against so many targets. The power requirements will be worth it, Chen finished. Humanity didn't build this ship to surrender. The quantum resonance field was perhaps their most terrifying weapon, a technology that could temporarily synchronize all matter within its range to the same quantum state. Against a single ship, it was devastating. Against a fleet, all hands, this is the captain. Chen's voice carried throughout the ship. Prepare for quantum resonance deployment. Emergency power to structural integrity fields. The massive Drachnid fleet began to advance, their formation a web of death designed to trap and destroy their elusive prey. They still didn't understand what they were facing. Field generators at maximum charge, Santos reported. Ready on your order. Target their entire command section, Chen ordered. Let's show them why humanity kept this ship secret for so long. The Nemesis Phantom Drive engaged one final time, placing quantum duplicates in a perfect sphere around the heart of the Drachnid fleet. The real ship, hidden among its copies, began to pulse with an eerie blue light. Field deploying in 3, 2, 1. The effect was beautiful and horrifying. A sphere of shimmering energy expanded from the Nemesis, passing through ships and space alike. Where it touched the Drachnid vessels, their matter briefly existed in a synchronized quantum state, every atom vibrating in perfect harmony. Then the field collapsed. The laws of physics reasserted themselves violently. Ships that had momentarily shared the same quantum state rejected each other at the subatomic level. Hull plating rippled like water, weapon systems fused into useless masses, and computer cores rewrote themselves with random quantum data. 87% of targeted vessels experiencing catastrophic systems failure, Zhao reported, his voice almost a whisper. They're dead in space, Captain. The remaining Drachnid ships recoiled from their stricken companions. Their perfect formation dissolved into chaos as they tried to comprehend what they'd just witnessed. Message from High Admiral Vexthor, Torres announced. This time, the alien's voice had lost its superiority. They're asking for a ceasefire. Put me on all frequencies, Chen ordered. When Torres nodded, she continued, This is Captain Chen of the TSS Nemesis. Your fleet is disabled. Your technology has failed. But we are not murderers. Stand down completely, and we will render assistance to your crews. Continue to fight, and we will demonstrate why testing humanity's mercy is unwise. The bridge fell silent as they waited for a response. The disabled Drachnid ships drifted like dead leviathans, their crews undoubtedly struggling to understand what had happened to them. Captain, Maya's voice cut through the tension. I'm detecting multiple new signatures approaching the solar system. Different configurations, different species. They're not Drachnid. Chen smiled grimly. Word spreads fast. The galaxy just realized that Earth isn't as primitive as they thought. She turned to Commander Walsh. Deploy rescue shuttles to the disabled ships. Show them that humanity's strength isn't just in our weapons. As the Nemesis moved to render aid to their defeated opponents, the truth of what had happened began to spread across subspace channels. Humanity had not just survived first contact, they had emerged as a power to be reckoned with. The quantum resonance field had changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. And watching from the edges of the solar system, representatives of a dozen alien civilizations began to reassess their plans for the supposedly primitive species called humanity. Emergency transmission from Earth Defense Command, Torres announced, his face pale as he decoded the message. Captain, we've been compromised. The revelation came as rescue operations were still underway. The Nemesis had spent the last 6 hours coordinating the evacuation of crippled Drachnid vessels, demonstrating that humanity's advancement hadn't cost them their compassion. Source: Chen demanded, already moving to the communication station. Multiple breaches in the global defense network. Someone's trying to shut down our planetary shield grid. The access codes, they're coming from inside the UN Security Council. Commander Walsh cursed under his breath. They had agents in place before the fleet arrived. This whole attack was a setup. Maya, scan Earth's orbital defense platforms, Chen ordered. Look for any anomalies in their power signatures. Lieutenant Patel's fingers flew across her console. Captain, 3 of the platforms are showing unusual energy readings. They're not powering up defensive systems. They're charging weapons. Targeting their own planet, Dr. Santos added, analyzing the data. If those platforms fire at full power. She didn't need to finish. Everyone on the bridge knew that Earth's orbital defense platforms carried enough firepower to level continents. Captain, Torres interrupted. Incoming transmission from High Admiral Vexthor. He's requesting to speak with you personally. Chen's eyes narrowed. Put him through. Main screen. The alien admiral appeared, his scaled features somehow managing to look smug despite the defeat of his fleet. Captain Chen, I trust you're detecting the interesting developments planetside. Your infiltrators, Chen replied coldly. How long have they been in place? Years, Vexthor answered. Did you really think we wouldn't notice your little project out here? The Nemesis is impressive, Captain, but you forgot the most basic rule of warfare. No weapon, no matter how advanced, can protect you from enemies who are already inside your walls. Sir, Maya called out urgently, the defense platforms are accelerating their power buildup. Target zones appear to be major population centers. Chen didn't let her expression change. What do you want, Admiral? The same thing we've wanted since we detected your quantum technology experiments a decade ago. Surrender the Nemesis. Give us its technology. Do this, and your species may yet survive. Under proper guidance, of course. Lieutenant Commander Zhao, Chen said without taking her eyes off the screen. Do we still have quantum torpedo lock on the Admiral's ship? Affirmative, Captain. Good. Chen smiled at Vexthor. Because you've just made a serious mistake, Admiral. Dr. Santos, initiate Protocol Echo. Santos' eyes widened. Captain, are you sure? We've never tested it at this range. Do it. Deep within the Nemesis, a system that had never been used outside of simulations hummed to life. The quantum resonance field generators powered up again, but this time, they were tuned to a very specific frequency. You see, Admiral, Chen explained as the system charged. We knew about the possibility of infiltrators. The quantum resonance field doesn't just affect ships. At the right frequency, it can target specific genetic patterns, like, say, disguised drachnid agents. The color drained from Vexthor's face. You're bluffing. Such precision is impossible. The same way a single ship defeating your fleet was impossible. Chen nodded to Santos. Execute. The quantum field pulsed once, invisible but powerful. Across Earth, dozens of supposedly human officials suddenly clutched their heads as their carefully constructed biological disguises began to break down at the quantum level. Defense platforms powering down, Maya reported. Infiltrators are being revealed worldwide. You see, Admiral, Chen continued, humanity didn't just build weapons. We built countermeasures for everything. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to order your remaining ships to stand down completely. Your infiltrators are already being taken into custody. And then you're going to explain to your empire exactly why attacking Earth was the worst mistake they've ever made. And if I refuse, then I'll demonstrate that the quantum field that disabled your fleet was operating at minimum power. Would you like to see what maximum power does to organic matter? The threat hung in space for a long moment. Finally, Vexthor's shoulders slumped. Stand down all vessels, he ordered, his voice carrying to his remaining fleet. Full surrender. As the drachnid ships powered down their weapons, Commander Walsh stepped closer to Chen's chair. Captain, the other alien vessels observing from the system's edge. They're transmitting massive amounts of data back to their homeworlds. Good, Chen replied. Let them report everything they've seen. Let the galaxy know that humanity was never primitive. We were preparing. And let them understand that we'll defend ourselves with both advanced technology and moral strength. She turned to Torres. Send word to Earth Defense Command. Tell them the threat is contained, and it's time to reveal ourselves to the galaxy properly. The Nemesis hung in space, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. They had faced their first major interstellar crisis and emerged victorious not just through superior firepower, but through foresight, preparation, and the strength of the human spirit. And as news of the battle spread across the galaxy, other civilizations began to realize that the age of treating humanity as primitive was over. Earth wasn't just joining the galactic community, it was redefining it. The Great Hall of the United Earth Government hummed with tension. 3 days after the Drachnid invasion attempt, representatives from 27 alien civilizations had gathered to witness humanity's formal introduction to the galactic community. Captain Chen stood at the podium, the weight of Earth's future heavy on her shoulders. The events of the past week have changed everything, she began, her voice carrying to both human and alien ears. Not just for Earth, but for the galaxy itself. You came expecting to find a primitive species ready for conquest or colonization. Instead, you found this. The holographic display behind her activated, showing the Nemesis in all its glory. No longer hidden, no longer denied. Earth's greatest achievement hung in space as a testament to human potential. But the Nemesis isn't just a warship, Chen continued. It's a message. While you watched us take our first steps into space, thinking us primitive, we were watching you, learning, preparing, not out of fear or aggression, but out of wisdom. In orbit, the Nemesis maintained its position above Earth, its quantum systems now visible to all. The ship that had single-handedly changed the balance of power in the galaxy had become a symbol of humanity's emergence. We developed the Phantom Drive not to wage war, but to ensure peace. We created the quantum resonance field not to destroy, but to defend. And when the moment came to use these technologies, we chose mercy over vengeance. The alien delegations shifted uncomfortably. Many had received reports from their observers about how the Nemesis had coordinated rescue operations for the defeated Drachnid fleet. It wasn't the behavior they expected from a species demonstrating such overwhelming military superiority. Dr. Santos stepped forward, taking her place beside Chen. We're prepared to share some of our advances with the galactic community, she announced. Not our weapons, those will remain Earth's safeguard. But our medical technologies, our quantum communication systems, our advances in sustainable energy, these belong to all sentient species. A murmur ran through the alien delegates. This wasn't how first contact scenarios usually played out. The strong didn't share with the weak. It was a principle that had governed interstellar relations for millennia. There will be those who see our mercy as weakness, Chen continued. The Drachnid Empire has already learned the cost of that mistake. We invite peaceful contact, trade, and cultural exchange. But let the events of the past week serve as a clear message. Humanity will not be subjugated, will not be colonized, and will not stand idle while others suffer the fate intended for us. From his position at the back of the hall, Commander Walsh watched the alien reactions. Some showed signs of respect, others fear, but all of them understood. The galaxy had changed. The Nemesis was never meant to be unique, Chen revealed, drawing gasps from the audience. It was a prototype. Even now, deep in the asteroid belt, its sisters are under construction, not for conquest, but for protection. Not just of Earth, but of any species that faces unjust aggression. The holographic display shifted, showing the quantum resonance field in action. Our technology can disable warships without destroying them, can reveal infiltrators without harming them, can defend without obliterating. This is humanity's true strength, not our weapons, but our ability to choose how we use them. In the detention center below Geneva, High Admiral Vex Thor watched the broadcast with his remaining officers. The former infiltrators, their true forms now revealed, sat in cells nearby. They had expected to find easy prey. Instead, they had become an object lesson in underestimating humanity. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, Chen declared. Earth is officially joining the galactic community, not as a primitive species to be guided or controlled, but as equals. We extend one hand in friendship while keeping the other ready to defend not just ourselves, but any who need protection. The Quantum Communications Network, another secret revealed, carried her words to every corner of known space. On thousands of worlds, billions of beings watched as humanity stepped onto the galactic stage. The age of predator and prey is over. Chen's voice rang out across the stars. The Nemesis isn't just a ship, it's a promise. A promise that humanity will never bow to tyranny, will never abandon those in need, and will never stop pushing the boundaries of what's possible. As her words faded, the alien delegates rose one by one, not in submission, but in recognition. They had come to witness the emergence of a primitive species. Instead, they had seen the birth of a new power, one that wielded advanced technology with wisdom and restraint. The Nemesis had shown the galaxy that humanity was far more than anyone had imagined. And as the delegations began their discussions of treaties and alliances, one truth became clear to all. The stars themselves had changed. The journey that began with a single hidden ship had transformed into humanity's first step toward its true destiny among the stars.